I put a jar of McCormick garlic powder in my cart yesterday for 50 cents. The same jar, same brand, same size, same red cap was $5.19 at the grocery store across the road. I know because I checked on the way home just to be sure I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't. $5.19 there, 50 cents at the Dollar Tree, on a cart by the door. Most people walk straight past. That's a 10-to-1 difference on the exact same object, and it wasn't a coupon and it wasn't a fluke. It's the end of August, and right now that store is doing something it only does twice a year, and almost nobody your age knows to look for it. I spent 31 years in the grocery business, 9 of them running a store, so I want to tell you what's happening on that clearance shelf, why it's happening this week specifically, and the 6 or 7 things sitting on it that are worth real money, the ones nobody thinks to check a dollar store for. And I'll tell you the one thing on that shelf you should never touch, no matter how cheap it gets, because I nearly bought it myself yesterday. Here's what's happening this week and why the prices are this low. A dollar store lives and dies on floor space. It carries only a few thousand items, so every single spot has to earn its keep. And twice a year it has to clear a whole season off the floor to make room for the next one. This is one of those times. Summer's being shoved out for fall, and the front edge of the holidays, the fall trucks are already backing up to the dock, and there's no room for both. So everything that came in back in May and didn't sell has to go, and it has to go now. That's not a sale the way you're used to one. A sale is the store tempting you. This is a store with a problem. Too much stuff, not enough room. And for about 2 weeks, you are the answer to that problem. That's why it lets things go for a dime. Not generosity, a deadline, and it doesn't announce it with a big red sign. It's quiet, a cart shoved near the front, an end cap bunched with odd items, a small sticker with a price lower than the $1.25 you expect, a name brand you recognize sitting at 50 or 75 cents, that odd low price on something obviously worth more is the whole tell. Now let me show you what to actually reach for. The spices you already heard about, the glass jar name brands, close out stock, 50 to 75 cents on something the grocery store robs you $5 for. Buy the ones you cook with, check the date, done. At our age, most of us cook for 1 or 2, and a giant grocery jar goes flat in the cabinet before we finish it anyway. The small clearance jar is the right size and the right price both. Next to nobody checks the sewing corner, so nobody knows it's there. Thread, buttons, needles, yarn, ribbon, a close out from craft stores that over-ordered, next to nothing on the clearance cart. A spool of thread that's $3 at a craft store is a dime here, and thread never goes bad. And even if you haven't sewn a stitch in years, a card of buttons and a needle is how you keep a good shirt from becoming a rag over one loose button. $2 buys a mending kit's worth, and you'll never throw out a shirt over a button again. Then the puzzle books, and this one's for us specifically. Crosswords, word search, Sudoku, the large print ones, close out from the publishers all the time, a fraction of the $4 and $5 the drugstore checkout wants. Doreen does hers every morning with her coffee, and she is not paying $5 a book to do it. On clearance, she buys a stack at 50 cents a piece, and it lasts her months. And I'll say the quiet part out loud, keeping your mind turning over at our age is not a small thing. And a shelf of large print puzzle books at 50 cents each is about the cheapest good habit a person can buy. Now let me stop, because there's a trap built into clearance itself, and if you don't understand it, none of the rest will help you. A low price does something to your judgment. You see 75% off and your head says grab it before it ever asks the only question that matters. Would I have bought this at all if it weren't marked down? Because a thing you didn't need at $1.25 is not a bargain at 50 cents. It's 50 cents wasted, plus the space it eats in your house, plus one more object you now have to think about. The whole skill is separating 2 questions the low price is trying to smear together. Is this a good price, and do I actually want this thing? The store is betting a big enough yes to the first will make you forget to ask the second. Don't let it. Doreen and I hold a thing up before it truly goes in the cart and ask each other one word, use it? If neither of us can say plainly how it gets used, back on the shelf it goes. Sounds foolish, has saved us more than every coupon I've ever clipped. Back to the shelf, because the next few are worth actual money. Batteries, The corner nobody associates with a dollar store. Name brand packs, Energizer, and Duracell come through as close out, and batteries are one of the ugliest markups at any drugstore. I'll be straight with you, the no-name cheap ones aren't the equal of the good ones in something high drain. But the remote, the wall clock, the flashlight in the drawer, those sip power, and there the difference means nothing. Grab the name brand packs cheap for those. The one place I beg you never to economize is your smoke detectors. Proper alkaline on a schedule, because that's not a corner to cut with your life. Garden seeds and bulbs get cleared hard right now because the store thinks the season's done and a dime, 15 cents a packet from $1.25. But seed doesn't die on the store's calendar. Kept dry and cool, it plants perfectly well next spring. So you buy the vegetable and flower seed now for pennies, tuck it in a drawer, and come April you've got a whole garden while everybody else is paying full freight. The fall bulbs go in the ground now anyway, so the store's practically giving them away by accident. And the solar path lights, the little stake lights that charge in the sun and glow at night, dumped as a summer item at half off. I don't care about them for the garden. I care because a dark stretch of path between the driveway and the door is exactly where a fall happens. And a fall at our age is a hospital and everything that comes after a hospital. A handful of these at 50 cents a piece, pushed into the ground in 5 minutes, no wiring, no bill, the sun charging them free every day. That's the cheapest bit of safety you will ever buy. Light the path you walk in the dark. Two more that belong together. Reading glasses and greeting cards. When the frame colors turn over, the old readers get cleared, $1.25 pair down to 50 cents. Same fixed magnification as the $18 drugstore pair, just a magnifier for your face. Find a frame you like, buy 4 pairs of it right there, because that exact one is on its way out, never coming back. Recliner, kitchen, purse, truck, $2 the lot. But hear me on this, because I mean it every time. Cheap readers are not an eye exam. If your sight's changed, if one eye's gone different from the other, if you're getting headaches or seeing rings around the lights at night, go see a doctor. A magnifier at any price catches none of the things that actually take a person's eyes. Once the doctor's told you you're healthy and just need magnification, the 50-cent pair is every bit as good as the expensive one. And the cards, a Dollar Tree card is already 2 for $1.25 against 6 and 7 at a card shop, and on clearance the summer and graduation ones go nearly free. Buy a stack, but it's not for anyone in particular, a stock, birthdays, blanks, sympathy, get well. Keep them in a drawer at home, because the real cost of a greeting card was never the money, it was the trip. You find out Tuesday that a birthday's Wednesday, the only place open is the drugstore, and you pay $6.50 because you're stuck. A stock drawer means you are never stuck again, for years, for a few dollars the one time. Now the thing you never buy, no matter how far it falls, the one I nearly walked out with yesterday. Everything I've shown you is cheap for a reason that has nothing to do with the product. The spice is a discontinued label. The seed's just September. The readers are last year's color. That's close out cheap, and close out cheap is a gift. But some things on that card are cheap because they were built to fail. The little novelties with a battery sealed inside, you can't replace, dead by next year, and then it's landfill. The flimsy gadget that cracks the second week, the earbuds, that's not the calendar. That's junk, and junk at 75% off is still junk. You've only paid less to be disappointed. The test is one question. Why is this on clearance? The season ended or the label got discontinued. Why buy it? Nobody wanted it because it's no good, or that's the store trying to turn its mistake into your mistake, and you leave it right there. Yesterday, it was a little handheld fan for me. Sealed battery, marked to 75 cents, and it was hot, and I held it half an aisle before I asked myself the question. It wasn't on clearance because summer was ending. There's plenty of summer left and a fan sells in the heat. It was there because the battery's sealed and it'll be dead by next year, and everybody who picked it up worked that out. I put it back and I bought the garlic powder instead. And that's the whole video right there, and one small decision by a cart near the door. So here's the honest arithmetic of my trip, since I've been quoting you prices all the way through. $6 near enough. 3 spice jars, a stack of Doreen's crosswords, a fistful of seed packets for the spring drawer, 4 solar stakes for the dark path, and 6 cards for the drawer, so we're stocked into next year. $30-some if I bought all that at full price across 4 different stores and 4 separate trips. 6 off 1 cart and 1 stop, and every last thing of it, something we'll actually use. If you go this week and this window is only open a week or 2, don't try to clear the whole cart. Reach for 3 things nobody else thinks to check. The glass jar spices, the puzzle books, the seed packets. Look before you grab, ask yourself, use it, and put back anything that's cheap only because it's junk. I read the comments, so tell me 1 of 2 things. If you've ever hit a markdown so deep you had to look twice at the register to believe it. I want to hear what it was and where. And if you're old enough to remember a parent or a grandparent who bought things by the box whenever they went cheap and kept a shelf of them in the cellar against the day they'd be needed, tell me what was on that shelf. My mother kept thread and buttons and canning lids down there, and I called it hoarding when I was 15, and I understand now it was the smartest math in the house. I'll be back with another one before long. Until then, go find that cart before they clear it for the fall.